Good morning, precious people. Here we are together. It's another fresh day. I'm so thankful for your irreplaceable light and the wisdom and experience that only you bring into the world. Today is a gift, and it's filled with possibility. So, let's open this gift with kindness and curiosity. And remember, we're all still growing and learning. Grab your nearest drink and let's sip together. Oh, I've had so much water today. It was a dry day. That's all I have today. So, before we get started, let's all just take a breath. Check in with ourselves. You ready? Woo. I do feel tense, but I believe it is from dealing with fleas. I have a flea issue. I will have to talk about that some other time. And when we're successful in getting rid of them, maybe I'll make an episode about that. I wanted to talk about the mindset of resilience today. So picture two people sitting side by side in the exact room, facing the same exact 12-hour grueling days filled with safety drills, sleep deprivation, and relentless pressure. One person is miserable, really not enjoying it, everything's an inconvenience to them, and they hated every second of it. But the other is kind of having a blast. They stay kind to everyone around them, and they're thriving. Why does that same exact environment produce two total opposite reactions, like misery in one person and maybe joy in the other? I want to unpack the science of psychological hardiness, the elite mental training of Navy SEALs, and the biblical truths behind choosing joy in the middle of fire. The fire you're going through every day in your life. So today's episode was sparked by a real-world experience I had recently. I was going through an exhaustive month-long training program, specifically flight attendant training. If you know anything about aviation training, any field, you know it's a pressure cooker by design. And I knew this going into it. Thankfully, I knew to expect these long, hard days. You're memorizing this thick regulatory manual. You're drilling these emergency evacuations, facing these strict pass-fail exams. You deal with this roommate dynamic and just nonstop physical discomfort. But at the end of this long month, this gauntlet I went through, two classmates had a conversation. One looked at the other one absolutely flabbergasted and said, "I hated every single second of this. Nothing about this was fun or enjoyable. How on earth did you actually enjoy yourself and stay so nice to everyone?" Well, this discussion pointed towards me, and there was a first officer nearby who overheard it. And he said something really insightful. He said that's exactly how Navy SEALs train. They develop a mindset that turns tough things into something they can conquer through their great attitude, their mindset. So that interaction raised a question in me. Is a good attitude during hard times just kind of luck, the luck of the draw? Or is it a specific psychological architecture? So I'm going to break down why some people crack under discomfort while others, like me, try to use it as fuel. I want to talk about the science of cognitive reframing. I've talked about that so many times before, I feel like. Look under the hood of that military stress inoculation and explore what the scripture also says about it. I love how science and the Bible seem to always just balance each other out. So, first, when psychologists look at why some people thrive under pressure while some people crumble, they turn to a breakthrough concept developed by Dr. Suzanne Kobasa at the University of Chicago, and it's called psychological hardiness. Dr. Kobasa studied people working in hyper-stressful environments and discovered that resilient individuals who maintain high energy and good attitudes, they share 3 distinct psychological traits. It's known as the 3 C's: control, commitment, challenge. So control, it's these hardened individuals have this internal locus of control. I have talked ad nauseum about this internal locus of control. They realize that they cannot control the temperature of the room, the strictness or attitude of the instructors, or the length of the day. They have 100% control over their internal reactions, their focus, and how they treat the person next to them. Unhappy people feel like helpless victims of their environment. Hardy people feel like active drivers of their response. So, that was control, that internal locus of control. Now, commitment, that second part of the 3 C's. Instead of checking out mentally or counting down the minutes until it's over, like tolerating this experience, hardy people stay fully engaged in the mission. They see the purpose behind the discomfort, knowing that learning safety procedures inside and out, it's not just a test. This is what saves people's lives at 30,000 feet. You guys, I had this revelation multiple times during our training. I'm like, everyone wants to know, what do I need to know to get past the test? What do I need to... And I mean, maybe that's motivating them to keep going and learn the bare minimum. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, I need to know this stuff. I need this information. I have to master this. So that kept me going, kept me focused. So the third C in those 3 C's is challenge. This is a big differentiator. Most people view discomfort, noise, those strict rules as maybe a threat or even this unfair burden that's being put on you. Hardy individuals view discomfort as a challenge or a game. They look at this hard day and think, let's see what I'm made of. So you can look at it as a challenge, like, I'm going to get through this day. There were times when our bus had to pick us up in the morning at 4:05 a.m., which, having worked in the airline industry before, a 4 a.m. start time is not really that big of a deal to me, but it was challenging. We had a bus, and it's not like, I don't know how to explain it. It was unpleasant, and a lot of people were not happy. So it's not even like you're with another group of people who exhibit those 3 C's. You're with people who are barely making it work. Your roommate is barely operating. And in fact, my first roommate ended up going home, unfortunately, because it was very taxing and we were not sleeping. A lot of people were really stressed out, not sleeping well. So as for me, I prioritized my sleep as well. I think that was another trick that I was pulling out of my bag. Like, yeah, I need to study for that test tomorrow, but I'm not going to sacrifice my sleep, my food, my eating, making something healthy for me to eat, getting something good in my system, hydrating, and sleeping at the expense of staying up and reading the same information for the 100th time. So, furthermore, research out of Stanford's Mind and Body Lab by Dr. Aaliyah Crum shows that when you adopt a stress is enhancing mindset, does that make sense? Stress is enhancing. You can use your stress to enhance your mentality, your your outlook. Does that make sense? Literally, your body changes its physiological response. Instead of flooding your system exclusively with these debilitating stress hormones, your brain can release anabolic growth hormones like DHEA that sharpen your focus, improve your memory retention, and they create this sensation of exhilaration instead of dread. So let's talk about these Navy SEALs, because as soon as I was explaining how I was, my mindset was through training, how I kept this positive, in the moment I was having a hard time explaining it, where I'm like, I can really enjoy discomfort. Believe it or not, I can make a situation, something I can enjoy. So, that first officer who overheard and mentioned that this is what Navy SEALs do, he was spot on. He saw what I experienced during training is the exact psychological transition that the BUDS candidates go through in Navy SEAL training. Navy SEAL training isn't designed to find the strongest swimmer or the guy who can do the most push-ups. It's engineered to systematically apply discomfort, cold, wet sand, sleep deprivation, and chaotic demands to see who breaks mentally. The ones who pass aren't the ones who don't feel pain. They're the ones who master the mental tactics used to reframe hardship. In the military culture, it's known, this is actually really funny, and I've heard this before, embracing the suck. It's gonna suck. Just grab onto it. Embrace that suck. Embracing the suck. It means accepting things that are uncomfortable, dropping the self-pity, and choosing to find camaraderie and dark humor in this shared struggle. And I feel like I had that in my flight attendant training. I feel like we all kind of went through almost a traumatic experience, but we did it together, and it like trauma bonded us, right? We developed in this month together some amazing relationships. So anyway, it's a shared struggle that we just went through, and I'm so thankful for that. And that's one of the things I was saying that I enjoyed. I'm like, I met so many great people. I have all these new relationships. I loved it. So, let's see. The ones who pass are the ones who embrace the suck. So, there's a 4-part mental architecture that these elite operators use under pressure. So the first part is micro goal segmenting. This is technique number 1. When training feels endless, weak mindsets panic by thinking about the weeks ahead. Elite mindsets segment the time into tiny digestible chunks, and they told us to do this. Our trainers on day 1 said, take it one day at a time. Don't try to work ahead. Don't try to memorize everything. Just what you're given that day, study that day. So you don't focus on surviving the whole month. You focus on mastering that next 30 minutes, that next drill, that next exam. So there's a technique number 2, internal monologue control. Internal monologue, what does that mean to you? What you're saying to yourself in your head, how you're talking to yourself, how you even talk to other people in your head. The average person talks to themselves constantly during stress. This is so unfair. I'm tired. I hate this instructor. Not everyone's people, So mental operators catch that negative script and can immediately replace it with action-oriented speech. I chose to be here. I was chosen to be here. We found out only 1.5% of the people who applied to be in our class made it into our class. We were chosen to be there. They saw something in us that qualified us to be there. So I'm capable, I'm learning, I'm going to nail this. I'm going to be the go-to SOP like person. That was my goal when I worked at a different agency, a government agency. I'm like, I want to be the person where if I need to answer a question, I like knew the SOP backwards and forwards. So that just the go-to person, like, hey, what does the SOP say about XYZ? Oh yeah, I know. So, and I wanted to be that person here too. I want to. I'm not there yet. Now, when the third technique is arousal regulation. When noise and pressure spike, the nervous system enters this flight or fight. Using techniques like box breathing, I did that so much. Just breathe. You inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then you wait another 4 before you inhale again. You manually override your physical panic response and you keep your heart rate down so your brain can remain logical and calm. Box breathing or just your arousal regulation. Just be aware of your body. Do some breathing. Also, I'll just tell you what, I used outward kindness as a weapon. That's what Romans 12 talks about. Here's the paradox. When things get tough, self-absorbed people turn inward and become grumpy, short, and self-pitying. These elite team players turn outward. They help their classmates smile and bring positive energy to the group. They build a collective momentum that lifts everyone, which in turn fuels their own psychological strength. Now, what does the Bible say? There was a couple of verses here I wanted to bring up. So, science calls it hardiness. The military calls it mental toughness. Scripture calls it the fruit of the Spirit. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. Let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. That's James 1. Conscious calculation, you guys. Count it all joy. Be deliberate. Don't just say you feel joyful. You have that resilience inside of you. Be that joy, even when you're going through the hard times. Now, in Philippians 4:11 through 12, it says, I've learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low. I know how to abound. And in every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. So, contentment and joys are not gifts based on circumstances. They're actual learned skills. All right. Let's see. I wanted something as a takeaway. So as an architect of our own lives and careers, and my experience during this flight attendant training proved to be something vital. My environment does not have the power to dictate my mood unless I hand over control. 2 people can stand in the exact same fire, and one can only see annoyances burning them up, and the other one sees a forge that is making them stronger, sharper, and ready for the sky. Not that one person is a bad person, but she was trapped in this external locus of control, letting the discomfort tell her how to feel. But those of us who are on the other spectrum, they let that Navy SEAL mindset, that cognitive reframing take over. So, let's stand and keep going. Keep going. Even in the little things in life, the little annoyances. Do that Navy SEAL mindset. If anything I said today sparked a thought, leave a comment or a like, subscribe, give the thumbs up. Every day's a chance to learn and grow and become more of the wonderful person you are. And the world is better with your light in it. So, I'll be here again tomorrow, hopefully. But until then, you have a beautiful day. And don't forget, you're the Lord's precious ones. Bye.